Alright guys, so part 3 on our super quick tutorial about creating a tutorial that you can actually carry a box. So we already have done this, we have the animation, and we already have created this super crazy ABP query. Now you're probably asking how we actually implemented with this, Mario. I never worked with Unreal, I have no idea what you're doing. How do I implement it? Don't worry, we're gonna make this in a very, very clean and simpler way, right? So we are gonna actually open up our animation class here, all right? This animation class, it's added right there, and as you can see, this I'm using the new Unreal Engine template, and you already have a couple of things, you know, like attack, which is really cool. We can actually do a whole tutorial about how to create this in the future, but right now, let's just focus on how we can actually implement our carrying information. Now you make sure you need to open up the ABP unarm, right? And here we have all the information about locomotion, the loops, and you're probably thinking, how can we actually implement it here? So the first thing we need to do is that we're going to go back here to the animation graph. And what we have to do is that on the main state, we need to do something here. We need to blend this based on a boolean. And this boolean will be is carrying, right? Perfect. Now, what we got to do here is that we need to call a function called blend pose boolean by bool, right? We have this, and now you're probably asking, but how can I add the animation? I mean, we could, in theory, do something which is like this, but as you can see, this is not working. This is because we need to use a better method. We need to use a better method, which is called ABP linked graph, and because I have the object selected, it's gonna show up right here. But if I don't have it, I can just go back, call ABP, and then we can just select the item here. As you can see, you can change the instance. We only have one, so Unreal Engine is like, okay, just use that. So now, as you can see, I can plug this on the B space, and now if I compile and save, it's default by let me just put this by default and the main state here. So if I compile and save, as you can see, it's playing the normal animation. In-game nothing changes, which is perfect. But now we need to basically say when we should handle this, and we should just do by adding this ping right here. And this is going to be control on the character. Now let's just add the informations that we have right here. First one is carrying. Second one should move, and the other one is the ground speed. Perfect. Now you have all this, and then we need to know if it's picking up, when it's dropping, and all that information that we don't have yet. All right? Now, if you guys want to see what those variables are actually doing, they're very simple. You just go to the event graph, and you should be able to see them here. So basically, this is what Unreal Engine does for us already. It's just calculating the ground speed of the character, something very basic, and then it's saying if we can move or not. Now you're probably asking, but how can I actually send that information right here and transform it and do all that stuff right here? So now is where we're gonna use a blueprint interface to achieve this goal for us. By using a blueprint interface, we're gonna be able to make this so much easy that it's gonna help us a lot. So I'm just gonna basically open up here on my, this is the other project, sorry. I have another project open. I'm just using as a reference because there's a couple of things that I did on my other project that they're not actually as good as it could be. But anyway, so here, I am gonna basically go back, I'm gonna create a new graph called carry box or carry, right? Sorry, this is a function. I'm talking about a new graph, carry. And we're going to create here a new event called custom event called API start carry box, right? And the first thing we need to do here is basically to tell the character that we are picking up the box, right? Is picking up, right? And the other thing that we also have to tell here is that if we are carrying the box. So I'm going to create a new variable, b is carrying. So we need to set those two first. So this is true, and that's also true. Later on, we need to reset the picking up, but for now, we can just do it like this and see what happens. Now you probably need to find a way to trigger this. So I'm going to go back here to the event, and I am going to do something like this. I'm going to create a branch, and if you are carrying, if it's false, then you're going to start carrying the information, and then later on we need to pass the box reference here. But if it's not, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to create here a new one called API, and then we're going to add here stop carrying box. And then what we got to do is that we need to create a new one called is dropping, because it needs to drop the box. True, right? And then we can add maybe a delay. And I already know this because I already implemented before, but I'm going to explain why we need those delays. For now, just follow up this. And we're just going to make sure that it's not carrying anymore, so the player can actually switch between the states and stuff. So I'm just going to call this API stop carrying the box. And now if I press play and I press E, nothing happened. If I get near the box, go back here. Let's check why is not happening. So I am gonna, oh yeah, of course guys, it is working. It's just not, we are not passing this information to our, to here, right? Let me go back to the event graph, main states, sorry, main states here. Yeah, we need to feed this information right here. So also what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create as a variable, and I'm going to promote this also as a variable. Perfect. Now, here's the fun part. What we can do, let's go to the character, right click, let's go to blueprint, and let's create a blueprint interface. And this is where blueprint interface really shine on this game, on the Unreal Engine, sorry. So let's call this BPI animation helper. And we're going to open up here. And this is going to be called return animation carry info. You can call this whatever you want. Let's create here a couple of informations, and the first one we need is called is B is dropping. Then what we need is picking up, and also picking up. Then what we need is carrying. And then we need another one called, that's it. That's all we got to do, because we don't need anything else on the player. Everything else is calculated outside. So now that we have this interface added here, we need to load that into our character. And you're probably asking, but how do we do this? There's too many things to do at the same time, right? So the way you do this by loading interface is just go to class settings. And sorry, class defaults, and here we should have, let's search for interface. I think it's on the class settings. Yeah, class settings, sorry. And then you're just gonna add here implemented interfaces. We don't have any. You just call that BPI, and there we go, animation helper. Now the first thing you're gonna notice if you go under interface is this. Return animation carry info. And then all you're going to do is that we put is picking up, is dropping, and is carrying. Now let's go back to the Unreal and let's test it. All right, it's not working because we have to tell the engine to use it on our animation. I know there's a lot of stuff to take it. It's a lot of small steps to do. But unfortunately, it's like once you master everything here, it gets easier, I promise. Right, now what we gotta do here, we're gonna create a new ping, and we're just gonna use that interface. And I'm gonna call it iReturn animation carry, blah, blah, blah. That's why I love to put iReturn, because I always know that this is related to an interface. It's not necessarily a law or anything, but it's nice to add a prefix, they always know that this is working properly. Now we're just gonna set is carrying. The next one is picking up, right? And as you can see, I'm being very lazy here. I'm just dropping the thing on top of it. And then we have is dropping here. And we can plug this one right there. And now everything should come to life. Is it working? Let's have a look why this is not working. So it's because we're getting the movement component, right? We actually need to get a character. Now, again, look at that. We got our character with the animation. It's a little bit janky, but we need to improve that right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this. And in the next one, we finish the tutorial. Hope to see you guys in the next one.